Right, hang on a minute. Well, I don't know if this is live right now. Right, it says I am. YouTube is such a bitch sometimes. It was giving me some problems earlier. Well, I found some problems with the printer where there are certain things which are the wrong not correctly lined up. Now it's hard to show you really on the camera because I can't. Well, I haven't got the camera plugged in right now, but I'll try and explain it in this drawing. I'll draw something. Right. Okay. Let's just. I want a circle. Right. There's a pulley. Maybe I need to make that hollow actually. Let's make this bigger. Oh, damn it! Wrong one. Let's zoom in a bit. Right. Now, there's at the end pulley on the printer, and we've got the motor pulley at the other end, right? And then we have the bed. I'll do a rectangle actually. Right, so there's the printed bed, right? And underneath the bed we have these little belt anchors where the belt fixes on, right? So it's a bit of a crude drawing, by the way. It's just a crude drawing, but what I noticed was, right, let me just get the colour a minute. Hang on a minute. I want this orange again. Right, there's the motor at this end, right? And there's little holes in the corner for bolts, whatever. Sorry, it's a bit crude, this drawing. Right, we've got 4 holes at the corners, right? And then there's the motor for the bed. Now, what I noticed was when the bed moved. Oh, hang on, I want the. Damn it, hang on a minute. I want the background white. Right, when the bed moves across over here, right, oh, I better go up a bit. Oh, I'm going to wipe it out. When the bed moves forwards and backwards, right, what happens is that the belt, the actual belt, around this motor here, I'll just let's do a line. I need to find a bit thicker. Right, the belt is actually at an angle, right, up to these things, right. Now that's bad because what happens is, oh no, that doesn't want to be there. What happens is, the belt's going around here, right, and it's going between there and there, right, like that. Because the belt is like a triangle shape and it's not directly in line. Now, what do you think that does? I'll tell you what happens. Because the belt is almost vertical over here, the table actually moves more so the table actually moves faster in that direction at this point than it would when the table was over here, because of the angle. So basically the bed is bad, the alignment of the belt is really bad, right? So what I decided to do was to correct this problem is to put a pulley, right? To put an actual pulley. Oh, that's wrong, in the wrong place. Is to put a pulley there, right, on the end of the motor, so the belt goes up. Sorry, I need to. This is messy now. But instead of the belt being at an angle to the relative to the table, the belt will go around this pulley and it will be directly parallel with the table, so it will be more straight, if you know what I mean. It's got a bit messy now, so I need to undo some stuff. Hang on a minute. I'll just remove a few things. I'll move them lines. Right, so if I move this table back a bit, right. Hang on. So if we've got our pulley here, right, which is the belt will go around. It'll go around this pulley, and it'll be directly in line with the table, if you see what I mean. And actually, I won't do that in a minute, because this pulley is actually in line at the other end. I've got it in the wrong place really. This pulley is actually in line, pretty much. It's actually higher up. This is about there. But you see what I mean? The pulley will be more in line with the table instead of at an angle. So when this motor turns, I'm 3D printing a spacer and another. I'm going to incorporate a bearing on the edge of that motor there, so that the belt is directly in alignment with the table. Because I've got a new belt now, but I'm just waiting for some. I'm waiting for some new gears for this motor, because the gear that's on there, it's the width of the gear that's on there is 3.5mm, and I'm going to be using 6mm wide belt, and it won't fit on that pulley, so I've got to wait for that new belt to two pulleys to arrive really. But you get the idea. So the belt will be basically like that, right? Now this table, where the belt's attached there, this point does not go past this pulley. It will go up to about here, because this table actually overhangs about here somewhere. So it's not going to go too far anyway. So by having adding a pulley to this edge of the motor and having a little bit extra belt on, because it means I've got to make the belt a bit longer. So I'm going to be. That's what I thought. I couldn't do it before because the belt would be too short, you see. I couldn't have made this modification without the new belt, because it would have been too short, right? It would have reached if I'd put that pulley there, and it would have been too short anyway, basically. So, but I'm decided to do this, fix this problem, and then it will mean that the table will be more even. When it moves backwards and forwards, it will be more even, and the steps will be the same at this end when the table's over here as the table when it's over here, right? So when the table's on the front, this is the front, right? So this is the front, and this is the back. So I can't really draw with this actually. Right, that's the back, that's the front, and so you see what I mean. And this is what's been causing a lot of when I print stuff, big stuff, it's the big stuff that is a problem, because that's when these little errors start to show up, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong at first, and I looked underneath at the belt arrangement, and I thought, well, that's obviously what the problem is, because the belt is shaped basically like a flipping triangle instead of a flipping, instead of being in parallel, it's not directly parallel. So without that pulley there, if I go to green, put green colour on there, the belt would have been, is currently sort of like, hang on a minute, I need to undo that. I'll overlay it. So this is like that. So the belt is basically kind of like that at the moment, and it's causing errors, but the error gets greater as this table moves along. But, well, it's not actually like that, because this end is attached to there, right? So you get what I mean. And so if you look at that, it's way off. I mean, the alignment of the belt is just in green, is way off. I mean, as this table gets further towards the motor, it's accelerating. The actual table is accelerating as it gets nearer the motor, because it's actually being pulled at an angle. So basically the table's being pulled down, and it's accelerating when it's at the back. Yeah, you see what I mean? Yeah, hide, yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's causing step problems, obviously. It's causing a linear or logarithmic step problem. So anyway, I should correct it with that pulley up there, because it'll always be pulling with the orange belt arrangement. It will always be pulling directly parallel, directly in line. Which is going to be a damn sight better than what it is right now. It's just bad design. I mean, whoever designed the original, this printer, they obviously don't understand geometry very well, because as you know yourself, if you get a piece of string, right, and you pull it directly, so you're directly in line with it, so that the actual object is moving directly towards your face, right? When you move it, say 1 inch, if you pull the string 1 inch, the actual object that you're pulling should also move exactly 1 inch. But if that object is above your head, say 2 feet above your head, and you pull that string 1 inch, the object above your head is going to move probably 1.5 to 2 inches or more than that. It's not going to be in direct steps. It's not going to be, the steps are going to be all completely messed up because of the angle. So anyway, that's what I'm sorting out right now. Apparently these new pulleys that I'm waiting for probably arrive either in the next week or sometime in November, the early part of November. But I actually did model some. I did model some 3D pulleys, which I'm actually using one of them right now. I 3D printed a pulley, but it's not very accurate. It's not perfect. It's working at the moment on a 6mm wide belt. Let's find it. Let's find it's in here somewhere. Right, this is the one. Right, I got this off Thingiverse, and this is a 6mm wide pulley for the belt, and it's got the gears, the notches for the belt too. And I actually printed this out, and when you measure it, it's actually 7mm wide, just a bit extra, an extra millimetre, just because of printing and stuff, and you get differences. But so I've got one of those on the printer right now, but it's not very accurate. But I'm waiting for the aluminium ones from China, which will be much better than the 3D printed ones, because they're a little bit, they didn't come out very well. They work, but there's a chance of them slipping because of the printed material not being as well defined. And it's important that the actual I'll go on to the X-ray mode a minute. I'll go on the X-ray mode now. The distance between that tooth down here and that tooth is 9.6mm. That's correct, actually. It's important that that diameter is about 9.6mm, because what happens is, if the teeth are actually further apart, right, if these teeth are farther apart, right, what happens is everything you print becomes oversized. So let's say I'm printing on the x-axis an object that's 2 inches wide. Now if them teeth are actually further apart, then that object is not going to be the right size, it's going to be too big, right? So the same applies to the y-axis as well. So if the y-axis if the actual cog, the gear tooth is actually, the teeth are too wide apart, you actually have more acceleration of the table or the head, the print head. So you end up with an oversized object if the teeth are farther apart. If the teeth are too close together, right, if the teeth are actually a shorter distance apart, everything you print would be too small. So let's say I'm printing a 10mm wide object, it would probably come out at 8mm, depending on how far the cogs are apart. So you can't have that. So you've got to have the right gear ratio, otherwise it messes up everything in the firmware. So that I've been trying my best to find the right cogs, and I think I found the one in China, and I've ordered them anyway, and I'm waiting for them. But the ones I printed, I mean, this one I 3D printed didn't come out exactly the right size, so my X is slightly different to my Y right now, so my objects are printed a little bit oval shaped. Well, I expected that, but it was worth trying it out. So yeah, because of that, the objects are a little bit oval shaped and not perfectly round, but it was alright for doing some tests with, and plus I can use them as 6mm wide belt now. And anyway, the print's just finished, and hopefully it's not going to be oval shaped, but it's not that bad. It's a little bit oval shaped. But anyway, I'm not going to be doing any major prints until I get the new parts. I've mainly been printing small objects like screws and things just to test it out with. Actually, they're not far off. It's the bigger the object is, the more error there is, and so I can't really do a lot at the moment until I've got new parts. But yeah, there is a bit of an oval shape to the objects right now until I get these. Trying to get these parts off the bed at the moment. So I just painted at the moment. what I just printed out was let's see, I'll just close this. I actually printed out this thing at the moment, which is a bearing spacer, which is what, when all these parts here are all together, it'll form this thing, and the bearing will sit in between. Right, the bearing will sit in between there, and that's a standoff. I'll just edit that a minute. Right, this bottom section here is a standoff, so it'll stand off from the motor, and that goes up against the bed stepper motor. So that basically makes this part stand off a little bit, and this part in the middle goes through the bearing, and the bearing sits between the two, and that will allow me to correct for that problem I was explaining earlier. Oh, okay, hide. Right, so anyway, I printed this out. The moment of truth, I know you can't see it right now because I haven't got the camera plugged in, but will it fit inside the bearing? Well, I'm not too worried if it doesn't, because I'll print it again when I get the new pulleys, if I need to do. I didn't bother plugging the camera in because I was printing. I didn't want to cause a USB hiccup. Although I'm printing off the SD card at the moment anyway. So these spaces looks like it's come out pretty well. I'll just measure it and tell you, because I mean you can't see it. So. Right, the spacer part, let's measure it. The spacer measures 9.72 millimeters by 10.22 millimeters, so it is oval shaped. Yeah, well that's because I'm using a plastic gear at the moment, a plastic belt pulley at the moment, so, and it's not perfect, it's not exactly right size, so I'm not really worried. Yeah, so that's what made me think about the belt alignment. But God, if a 0.2 millimeter error on these little gears can make all that difference, then how much of a problem is those alignment causing me? Will be a lot. I know somebody was asking me about some books or something on YouTube to go and look up. I don't have a library card, so I can't go and scan stuff if I can't access it at the library. I don't know. I've just been feeling distracted lately with other things. You know, kind of discombobulated. Well, my spacers actually are supposed to be 1.5 millimeters thick. Actually, not far off. It measures blow me neck. It actually measures 1.93 millimeters. It's supposed to be 1.5. I actually ordered a new nozzle as well, a 0.2 millimeter nozzle. Yeah, I'll have to sand that down a bit, I think. Oh, I'm sorry you can't see that, what I'm doing right now, but I'm basically trimming off the edges of the objects I've just printed. Yeah, so that, let's see how big is this? Alright, that's measuring 26.35 millimeters that way, 24.77 that way. So yeah, it's definitely come out oval shaped. Yeah, well, I'll be alright when I get that pulley. I've got two pulleys coming, so yeah. Where's the bearing gone? Wait. Always go on the bearing, that's the problem. It was only a test print, this, anyway. It was really just a test. And, I know I can't really put the other metal pulley back on now because I'm using the 6mm wide belt, and the other pulley is just too narrow. It's 3.5mm. It won't fit the 6mm belt, so I'm kind of stuck until these pulleys arrive. Because the other belt was on the verge of breaking. I thought, well, I was thinking to myself, well, I can keep going until the belt breaks, but then I might be in the middle of a large print, and then I'll end up wasting a lot of plastic. And I thought, well, I'd rather try it with the plastic pulley than wasting a print if the belt breaks, because it looked like it was on the verge of going. Let's see, will this bearing go in there? Oh, it fits! Even though it's a bit oval shaped, it doesn't matter, it fits. It actually does, it fits. You do hear it creak in there. Oh, I pushed it on so hard, mate. I can't get it off now. Well, let me just see if I can plug the camera in. Just give me a minute. Oh shit. Sorry about that. Nothing. Oh, I've just broken something. Oh, that's completely knackered. I've broken a little plastic. Knocked it off. Oops. It wasn't much use to me anyway. Yeah, this is what happens when I'm trying to improvise. Plug my camera in. Well, I'm hoping it's going to work. Just a second. Looks like it's coming off. Just a sec. I'll go to Minicam and switch the feed over. Frigging thing's not coming off. Hold on a minute. Just a minute, I haven't got the camera up yet, I'm still doing something. Come on. Is my feed still live? I can't seem to get the camera to work. Just a minute. Flipping, I hate this camera. I haven't got my IP camera set up at the moment. I can't just plug it in and go because it's not USB, it's IP. Just a minute. I'm trying to get this damn stupid dash cam thing to work, and it's not behaving itself right now. Hang on. Okay, I'm still alive, right. What the hell's wrong with this camera? Come on. Thing. Right, try again. Ah! Finally, we've got something. Right. Okay, so these are the parts I printed. Right, the green part for the to go on the bearing, right? Right, so I've got the bearing on there, and this other piece goes on the back, like that. But I think it needs sanding down, but it works. It's going to work anyway. It needs some sanding on there because it's a bit too thick, but it's going to work. And then my spacer goes at the back like that, to stand off the motor, like this. There's a screw goes through. Let me find a screw, just a minute. I need a nice long screw. Right, let's see if I can find one. I should have a nice long one in here. Right, I think one of these will fit. Right, so the screw goes. That one's drilling out a bit. Hang on, where's my drills gone? I need a 3mm drill bit. I'll just do it with my fingers. It's just splayed out at the end where the print bed was. Do the spacer as well because that'll be tight. Oops. Right, my screw should fit there now. So the screw should go through. Yeah, it does. So I've got my spacer. Well, basically what this does is I put the screw on this side like this, right, and the other cap goes on the other side of the bearing like that. Then my spacer goes on, and then it screws into the motor, stepper motor like that. So there's my screw and everything, and that will give me the belt alignment to make the belt stand higher up, so that when the belt runs around here on this bearing, these two edges flanges will stop the belt from running off the edge, you know, guide it, keep the belt guided on. I'll use this bearing to lift the belt so it's directly in alignment with the, as I showed you earlier. Sorry, the video's glitching out on me a bit. I made an extra spacer though. I might actually just need this smaller one, because I actually added the thickness of this flange and that thickness of there, so I probably need the smaller spacer on there, not the bigger one, so I'm just going to drill that out. Right. Put this thin little one on. That should be right. That should be exactly lined up, because I did some measurements earlier. I should be able to screw that directly into the stepper motor. It should work fine. So I think it's a 3mm hole. Actually, the printer's stopped. If I move the camera, it might go glitching out on me. So I'm just going to see if this fits before I move the camera. If I move the camera now, it might glitch out on me. This is stupid, that cable's really bad. Yeah, I think that's going to work. I'll try and move it. Hang on. What I'll do is I'm going to put the live stream onto the still image while I move the camera. Otherwise, if it goes wrong while I'm live streaming from the camera, it's going to screw it up. So I'm just going to put a still image on. Just a minute. Alright, I'm just going to move the camera so you can see what I'm on about. If it goes ding, you know my feet's gone messed up, but that's why I put a still image on for a minute. Good thing I put a still image on while I move the damn thing. Still doing it. Flipping cable's bad on here. Right, just give me a minute. Let's see if the feed's back. If that had happened while I was live streaming, it would have messed up the stream. So let me just see if it, no, it's not back. Hang on. I hate USBs, they're horrible. Right, let me just make sure it's back properly. Right. I'll try it. It's flipping black screen. Just a minute. I'll do the cable. Hang on a minute. I did find you the cable. Let me swap it out. Let me swap the cable over to this other one. Yeah, here it is. Right. I actually found the proper cable for this. Let's just get this one off because this is crap. This junk. A minute. I really need to chuck this USB mini to standard because it's absolute crap. Right, this one should be a lot better. Hang on, let's plug that in. This should be alright. Let me check. See if it's back. Yeah, we're back. Okay, right. You can see the motor, can't you, at the bottom there. Right? Am I live still? Am I still alive? Well, there's a screw hole in the end of the motor right into the corner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to screw that on there. So I need my screwdrivers in a minute. I need a posi drive. Wrong size, hang on. This should work. Hyde's gone to bed, I think. Good night, Hyde. Right, if that's great, I can't even get the screwdriver in there. Oh. I'll use a little one. And I really need to put the other belt on when I get the pulley, but I want to see if it fits properly. If I use an ordinary electrical screwdriver, I should get this to go in. Oh God! I'm going to use my fingers, I think. It's going to work. It's going in. The screw's got, look, it's on, look. But it's on top of the belt right now instead of the belt going over the top, because this can't, because it's too short. It's going to work. When I've got the 6mm wide belt, it's going to be perfect. You can see what I mean. Now, I won't screw this all away, I just want to make sure the table's going to clear that. So let's pull the table back. Yeah, it's clear. I don't know why it squeaks at this end right now, but just get, where's my torch? It's up underneath. Keep clearing it. It's captured on that wooden frame, but it is going to be better. I see what I need. The plastic rims are a bit too big. These little plastic flanges that go on the end of the bearing are a bit too tall. So I need to make that smaller so it doesn't catch on that wood. But it's going to work. Will work once I get them the right height. So these plastic green things on the ends of the bearing are a bit too tall. About a millimetre, that's all. Right, so I'll take this out again because it's not going to fit yet until I get these plastic things right. Dimensions. But you get the idea. Obviously I can't move this right now because this belt is too short, as I said earlier. But I have a new belt, I just can't put it on yet. I got 2 meters of this belt, 2 meters of this. It's all wrapped up on a big ball right now, but that's just a 6mm wide belt, and you can see the width. It'll sit perfectly on that bearing. The bearing's over 7mm wide, so right. So okay. So let's just take these flanges off here a minute. Well, actually I can't take the other flange off because it's part of the middle part, so I'm just gonna have to modify these so they don't stick out so high. I'll take that bearing off there. So if I go back to my design, these the diameter of these between the ends need to be a little bit smaller, which is annoying, but I should be able to sort that out. So if I edit this component, I need to fill the hole in temporarily because I can't get my centre if I don't, so I'll just fill the hole in. But basically let's just measure this in a minute. So I'm measuring the bearing again. So the bearing wants to be, the flanges want to be about, instead of 25 they want to be like, let's see, 23, let's see, 22.5, I think 22.5 will work. So I'll get my calculator up. So 22.5 divided by 2 is 11.25. So what I want now is 11.25, so right, so now what I need to do now is bring this right down and cut that off. Right, so I'll go right down. Oh, I can't get it. Hang on. There we go. Alright, I've cut that extra bit off there now, right? So now I can get rid of that middle piece. Now I should be 22.5. Okay, I've got it. Right, so I've got my 22.5. You see it's a bit narrower. Oh, I've lost my hole. I've lost the thing at the bottom. Oops. Undo. What did I actually do there? Undo. Oh, I see what I've done. Just a minute. Get rid of this middle hole. Right. Now I need to bring that down again. I don't know what I did before. Oh, it's hollow. Oh, I've left it hollow. Oh well, I have to just put a face on there, I think. So if I get my pencil, and I should be able to. I should be able to get a face back on there. Hang on. There, I've got it. Got my face back. Okay. Just get rid of that line and that line. I've lost the face. Oops. Anyway, it's back now. Right, let's have a look. X-ray that, just have a look, make sure it's right. I think it looks alright. Yeah, that's okay. Right, I've got to adjust the other flange as well on the bottom section, so I'll close that component. I need to edit this component. Now, actually I'm going to have to hide this thing. I'll just close that a minute. I'll hide that. And I'll hide that one. What was the dimensions again? Where's my calculator gone? So it's 11.25. So I have to edit this. I need to fill the hole in a minute. Alright, otherwise I can't get the centre properly. Right, 11.25. Right, get rid of that. Now I'm going to end it with a hollow again, so I'm just going to bring that down onto the face. Right, I need to get my face back. I'll call it that. Right, that's it. I've adjusted it. Need to unhide that. Unhide that. Now, these were components, so these are clones of these models. So when I change these models here, these should have changed as well. So if I just get out of this now, when I measure these parts, edit group, these should have changed as well. So 22.5. Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what I wanted. So this one should also be 22.5. Yeah. Well, for some reason it disappears when I try to zoom in, but right, so now I can just export this. I'm just going to save it. I'm just going to export that new modified version, and I have to print that again. Actually, before I do that, because they did come out too thick, so what I need to do is I need to thin these out a bit, because they're a bit too thick actually. So if I edit that component, now you'll see that the ones in the distance will also change as well. So if I change the thickness of this, you'll see the one in the distance. Oh, you can't see it. Actually, it's at the top. You'll see the one in the background is also changing. But, yeah, so if I'll just escape a minute, so I've forgotten where I was now. I want to, oops. I want to bring that. What the hell is going on here? I want to bring it down by 0.5, which I have. I've lost my face. Oh, it's gone backwards. What the hell? Reverse face. What the hell's going on here? I've got two faces there now for some reason. Hang on. What's going on? Oh, right. I must have created two faces. I don't know what I did there. Oh, I'll undo that in a minute. What the hell's going on? Undo again, undo. Ah, I know what I should do. I'll bring this face up, that would be better. Yeah, that's better. So I want to be up by 0.6 actually. Right, that's better. Right. So I made it a bit thinner. Let's go and change this other one as well. Close the other one. Edit component. I need to change this one. I want to be up by 0.6, so 0.6. That should be a lot thinner now because it was too thick. Right, 0.9mm thick. It's actually going to be thicker than that because I think what happens is when you're printing stuff, its first layer is thicker than the rest of the layers, and that's why it's making it too thick. So I think it'll come out at about 1.5 now because I've removed 0.6 because it was too big. It came out at 2mm when I wanted 1.5. So by reducing it by 0.6mm, it should come out at about 1.4 to 1.5 now. Because the first layer it prints the printer actually defaults to the first layer being a lot thicker, like 0.4mm thick. That's why my models, that's why these were coming out too thick, you see. Right, so if I lifted them up by 0.6, I need to really lift these spacers up as well. Otherwise they're not going to be laid flat on the bed. So if I lift this up, I'm just going to lift this up by, on the blue axis, by 0.6. I'm going to lift that other one up by 0.6. These are the other ones. I want to lift it up by 0.6. That's it. Right, when I lay these on the bed now, they should be flat, or flat relative to each other. It was easy to move these big spacers than it is to move these, because they're harder to get a handle on them. You tend to rotate things if you're not careful. Right, so now I can just export that again. I'm in the wrong directory now. Right, hopefully there's no errors. I'm just going to save it. Alright, I bet you I've got some stupid errors now. Probably going to come up with something like I've got too many faces or something silly. Oh wow, no errors. NetFab says there's none anyway. Right, that looks thinner now. Right, I've got to oh, it's already loaded, so it's just going to refresh what I already imported before. It's already loaded them, and I just need to slice it again. Right. Oh yeah, you saw them shrink just then. They just went a little bit smaller. So that's right. That's what I want. So let's save the file. Where's that one? I have to put that on my SD card now. Just it's more reliable to print. That's all. Right, I'll stick this on the SD card. I've got too many things open. Get rid of this thing. Actually, I'll save that for now. So that's what this mod is. It's to correct for an error in the belt alignment. I'll get this. I need to get something to close down because I've got too many tabs on. Right, where's my G code? Spaces, that's the one. 4:44, that's what I've just done. Yeah, that's what time it is over here. It's 4:45 AM. Place that. Right, that's that done. Okay. I've got to print new parts again. Can I put the camera back on? So, yeah, I'll keep these other parts I did, which are a bit oversized. I'll just plump them in my spare parts bin, but box bits. Can't find it. Put it down. Oh, I found it. Okay, so yeah, looking at the printer from the back at the moment. I can't really move the camera right now. I went to smash something last time, just moving the camera. Just getting the camera out, I mean. so I need to turn the heater back on. Right, go to spaces. Okay, I've set the printer running, so it's warming up now. It's going to print the new parts. It's going to take a while to warm up. I'm probably going to kill the stream anyway, because yeah, you don't want to see me printing these again. It's going to take for ages. Oh, I've lost my 4mm drill. Where did I put that? Oh, I left it in the drill. That's why I couldn't find it. I can see it over there. Yes, I went and brought my flowering candle holder earlier. I might repair it later. I'll put the. Anyway, I'm going to go now on. I'm going to disappear. Talk later.